Hello everybody, it's your boy Proftrof and we're back again with a new video. This is a salmonella video that we somehow, I say we, but I somehow miss. Anyway, this is why produce used to suck. Let's check it out, brother. Let's check it out. What's up, Sam?
Hey kids, you've probably seen this scene in
Not
TV
kid,
or
but,
movies
you know.
at some point. A couple of people end up
By the way, YouTuber saying hey kids kinda scary.
stranded on a desert island, totally isolated from all
Yup.
civilization. It seems like there's no hope for survival, but then one of them looks 3 feet to the left and, oh my god, it's a tree
bananas.
full of fully grown plump
By the way, I don't know why my remote brain goes immediately to hit her over the head with a rock, and that's food for like a week. A week, brother.
delicious smiling golden skinned bananas. Amazing. We're safe for the time being. Hey, don't eat those. They're
Okay, is it banana or is it the banana lookalike that tastes worse than a banana? You know what I mean? I don't remember the name, but there is a banana lookalike out there. Be careful.
made of lies.
It's sussy.
See?
Damn.
Listen, why do
I like
fruit
that, though.
exist? For a delicious, nutritious snack for humans and animals alike to enjoy?
No. God damn. That was a throw and a half.
You know, you didn't have to go throwing him into the sun like that.
You're next, Susan! Throw Susan.
How did you know my name? I created you. Anyway, as most of you probably know, fruit
Damn.
are a thing because nature figured out, hey, if you put
Yes.
a little bit of deliciousness
Seeds.
around your seed, it'll convince some idiot bird or something to carry your baby off to faraway lands, right? But then
Absolutely.
humans showed up and were like, hey,
Why-
that's pretty nifty. Listen, is it cool
why
if we
is it all
selectively
bearded?
breed you for thousands of years to give you horrific deformities to crank up that whole deliciousness part a couple hundred notches? Alright, cool. Let's take a look at bananas, specifically
can't
the
talk, so-
Cavendish variety that we all know and love. On
Cavendish.
the inside, we got like 2% seeds, 93% delectable banana meat, and
Uh-huh.
5% that brown part at the bottom that your mom says is perfectly fine to eat, but you still don't trust. Great for a snack.
Yes, and for some reason my dad loves the brown part and he likes it when, you know, when you leave it, the banana a little bit, it starts getting brown everywhere. He loves that shit. I hate that shit.
Terrible for reproducing efficiently. Meanwhile, check out the thing on the right here.
Oh,
That's Musa
what the hell is
acuminata,
that?
one of the suspected ancestors
Ain't no
of today's
Musa there.
nanners. Much smaller and jam-packed with seeds, with just enough flesh in there
Jeez,
to make
I
it
wonder
worth
how
some
that tastes.
smelly primate's time to crack open a yellow one with the boys. Here's another wild type banana, Musa balbisiana. Less
That's-
sweet,
how is that a
way
banana?
starchier, harder to get into, hella seeds, same shit different day really. But hey, if you stick that boy in the ground, you've got an okay chance of making a new banana tree. You bury a modern banana, all you're gonna end up with is a dirty banana. And not
Damn.
that one club in Miami, I mean an actual dirty
The
banana.
dirty
That's
banana.
because, like a lot of cultivated
Holy
fruit, culinary
shit.
bananas are so inbred and malformed that they can't produce offspring even if
But they produced a human somehow. God damn.
they wanted to. So, word of advice for you men out there, if ever a lady points out how poorly endowed you are, just show her this JPEG. She'll say, wow, I didn't realize it was so potent and fertile. You really opened my eyes, thank you. Bananas aren't the only piece of produce to follow this
That was
pattern.
not what we were trying to open, by the way. We're trying to open the vagina.
Though not by a long shot. For
Can we open
example,
it?
take the watermelon.
That-
According to Monsanto, everybody's favorite corporation, the first evidence of human cultivation of the
Monsanto.
watermelon dates back to Egypt around 5,000 years ago. Back
God
then, they were only
damn.
2 inches in diameter, around the size of a tennis ball. The flesh was supposedly tough and bitter, much like that of a tennis ball. Of course, just as the growth of a delicious green baby takes time, so too did the evolution of the modern watermelon. In fact, even as late as the mid-1600s, watermelons looked way different from what we have today, as shown by this painting by
Oh
Giovanni
my
Stanchi.
God.
Notice the thicker rind, the larger seeds, and the weird segmentation on the inside.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. That looks fucking disgusting. Holy.
Definitely a
The
cooler
pear looks
still
like a
life
pear.
subject, but ultimately inferior as a summertime snack.
Lot of-
How about
lot of
vegetables?
inbred
Tell me,
there.
do you enjoy cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kale, collard greens, broccoli, or cauliflower?
No.
I mean, I guess I like broccoli and cauliflower.
Yeah,
the rest are
broccoli's
kinda
pretty good
gross,
steam.
though. Wrong! All 6 of these vegetables are actually the same thing. That means you like them all. That's not how that works. I'll be good. Anyway, these veggies are all just cultivars of the same species, Brassica
Jesus.
oleracea, otherwise known as wild cabbage. Every
What?
part of the plant is edible to some extent, but there's not much of it to go around. So a bunch of different people throughout history said, alright, what if we just take one specific part of the plant
Technically, they made kale first and then that branched off into all the others, but you get the gosh damn point. Okay, chill out. Don't throw me into the sun. Well, I don't think he can. I'm fast fuck now. Not actually, but you know what I
and
mean.
go fucking insane with it. And that's what they did.
Jokes.
Those who bred for giant leaves got kale. Going for huge dense flower buds gets you broccoli. Juicy engorged lateral leaf buds equal Brussels sprouts, etc. Speaking of segues, let's check out eggplants. The OG eggplant was first domesticated in India, where it can still be found in the wild today. It looks
Them
nothing like
wild
an
Indians.
eggplant though. They actually resemble little green berries the size of grapes.
What the
The only
shit?
thing it seems to have in common with the classic purple eggplant is how little both of them have in common with an egg. However, if we add the RGB percentage values of their color and merge their shapes, we do get what looks approximately like an egg. So I guess that solves that mystery.
Sure?
This whole transformation really is a testament to man's greatness though. That's like starting out with a frog and selectively breeding them until you end up with Grimace from McDonald's lore. Speaking of which, did you know Grimace used to be evil and have 4 arms? This is a real thing.
I don't
I'd
know
like
what the
to
fuck a
think that
grimace
when they
is.
lopped off his extra limbs, all his evil energy went with him, and now there's just 2 plump purple cylinders scampering around the countryside waiting to pull unsuspecting kids under ball pits, never to be seen again. That's just my McDonald's headcanon though.
Bro, what?
Anyway, back to whatever we were talking about. Next is corn, or sorry, maize. I call it corn like a normal person. If it was supposed to be called maize, these would be called mazes. Obviously,
Maize
that's like the
mazes.
perfect opportunity, but they're not, so put an etymological sock in it. Or stocking. Anyway, I was totally expecting old corn to look like those baby corns you find in Chinese food and literally nowhere
What does it
else.
look
Turns
like?
out those actually are just baby corns. One suspected ancestor of corn is known as teosinti, which looks like this. Gee whiz, Sam, that sure
What
does look
the
like
shit?
garbage. Good eye, Billy.
Yes, it
That's
does.
because it was garbage. Whereas modern corn has a kernel count in the hundreds, teosinti only has 5 to 12, with each one being
Damn.
encased in a hard shell that's basically impossible to get into short of boiling it or chipping a tooth. The fact that people decided to domesticate it in the first place makes sense once you realize that most grains are basically the same thing. But honestly, that just makes me wish people figured out how to turn a piece of wheat into a big chunk of whatever to gnaw on.
Yeah,
This
we
whole
can still
thing
do it.
disappointed me so much
There's
that I
time, maybe.
actually moved it to the top of my list of reasons
Not to visit the Mayans. The corn was bad, brutal human sacrifices, overly complex calendar. True, that already ended. Dumbass motherfuckers. Probably all selfish as fuck, even their name all sounds like mine. Scared that is real.
to
Sure.
visit the Mayans if I ever get a time machine.
Good reasons.
Nonetheless, as you can see,
I like how
human
brutal
endeavor can
human
accomplish
sacrifice was
amazing
second
things.
in
And
the
just
list.
as a few thousand years of selective breeding can turn this into this, a few hours of learning a week can turn you into, you know, a
You
more
had it?
talented
By the way, we are doing the same with dogs, but instead of making them cute, big, useful, we're making them ugly as shit and useless and small. Why are we doing that? And cats, have you seen those Korean cats without the like second limb on the legs? They're cute as shit, but I mean, a rat can beat the shit out of a cat. That is a sentence you don't want to say. A rat can beat a cat. What is this, Tom and Jerry?
and
Come on,
interesting
brother.
version of you. And what better way to do that than with Skillshare.com? Skillshare is
actually
an
adding
online
that?
learning community with over 22,000
Oh, shit.
classes in technology,
Never seen
design,
that at the
business,
end.
and more.
Well, that's crazy. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and yeah, let me know what you think about the corn. Anyway, bye.